Hi guys, I wanted to go over yesterday's math, the 5.7 on conversions, and the kind of important things to keep in mind is that you want to follow the method every single time. So if you set it up the same way, you do the same method every single time, it'll be fairly easy. The other thing is that you need to have a calculator available, so like on your phone or on the computer or just a regular calculator. It'll save you a lot of time, and it's kind of unnecessary to do the long division for all the decimals and stuff because it's going to take you a very long time on some of these. So the other thing you need to keep in mind is that the reference sheet for the conversions is on B1. It's the second to the last page of your book. So if you go to the very last page, or you can use online, just do it online, but to look up the conversions. So, but you should know how to do it because it's good practice and it's also an extension of understanding ratios. So these are pretty much ratios. If you compare one measurement to the other, so many centimeters is worth so many inches. They're like, it's like a relationship between the amount. So you can think of it as a ratio of comparisons. So we in the United States use the customary system of measurement, which is inches, feet, miles, and so forth for length and distance. And then in Europe and many other countries, most all other countries, they use the metric system, which is multiples of 10. So you have centimeters, so centi meaning 100. So there's 100 centimeters in a meter, just like we talked about. Percent means per 100. So that word cent comes up a lot in math, meaning 100 or 1/100th. And so we have 100 centimeters in a meter, 1,000 meters in a kilometer, and so forth. We also have things like pounds and ounces that measure weight and volume, whereas in the metric system, they use grams and milliliters. So anyway, today we'll be converting some of these measurements. And like I said, as long as you follow the pattern and do it very similarly each time, it shouldn't be too hard. So this is on page 234. I wanted to talk about how to do a few of these problems. And the biggest thing you want to do is look up your conversion factor right away. So let me show you the book real quick, example. So when you go to the examples here on page 234, you'll see how it says convert 36 quarts to gallons. So the really important thing is to notice the order that these come in, and you always want to start with the original amount that they give you. So 36 quarts is going to go first. So 36 QT or quarts over 1 is how I do it, and then multiply. And you're going to multiply by the conversion factor. So what you do is you look in the back of your book or online to find the gallons because it wants us to go to gallons. So you want to find the relationship or the ratio of gallons to quarts. And so I find that 1 gallon, it says 1 gallon is worth 4 quarts. So for every 1 gallon, there's 4 quarts. So you want to really make sure that when you set up your conversion factor, that the quarts are diagonal from each other. And the reason is because we want to cross them out and be left with our gallons. So this is the same as 36 quarts over 1 times 1 gallon over 4 quarts. Cross out your quarts. Now you left with 36 times 1, which is 36, and 1 times 4, which is 4. And 36 over 4 is an improper fraction, which reduces to 9 gallons. Remember that line, that fraction line, is the same thing as division. It means division. So 36 divided by 4 is 9. And remember, you need to write gallons so that we know what unit we have. So 9 gallons. So 36 quarts is the same as 9 gallons. So now if we look at the next example, 20 centimeters to inches. So you start with your first original amount, 20 centimeters over 1. They didn't put that, but I would. 20 centimeters over 1 times the conversion factor. Where do we find the conversion factor? We look in the back of our book, or you look it up. You want to go from centimeters to inches. So we're going to put inches on the top and centimeters on the bottom, because remember, you want to cross out your centimeters. Whoops, sorry. Okay, so now you can multiply. When I found this, it's 1 inch to 2.54 centimeters. So 20 times 1 is 20. And then 2.54 times 1 is 2.54. So you'll have 20 over 2.54. So you would divide. Now let me show you on the whiteboard real quick. You're going to have, so it's 20 centimeters over 1 times 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters. Cross out your centimeters. Multiply. 20 times 1 is 20. 1 times 2.54 is 2.54. And then on your calculator, you divide 20 by 2.54, and you will get 7.87 inches. Remember to write your units, because we crossed out our centimeters and we're left with inches. Okay? All right. Let's try one more. This is the on your own, and I'll do some more examples in another video. This is the on your own number 1. It says copy and complete the statement, round to the nearest hundredth if necessary. So hundredth is 2 spaces past the decimal. So 48 feet is my original amount. Okay, so I'm going to start with that. Put it over 1 times, remember, you're going to multiply the original amount over 1 times your conversion factor. Now, I'm going from feet to yards. So I want to put feet to yards on the top and feet on the bottom, because I need to cancel out, cross cancel the feet, right? So in order to figure out my conversion factor, I go to the back of my book, but I know in my head that there are 3 feet in 1 yard, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put 1 yard is the same as 3 feet. Okay, so now I'm going to multiply 48 times 1 equals 48, and 1 times 3 is 3. So 48 over 3, remember this line means division, or you could look at it as an improper fraction. 48 divided by 3, I could do it in my head. 3 goes into 4 one time with 1 left over. 3 into 18 is 6. So 16 yards. Okay, so I know it's yards because my feet are crossed out and they're cross canceled, and I wanted to get yards as my conversion. So there I am, 16 yards. This is number 1 on the On Your Own on page 234. All right.